but they do have a bank of lights that has gone out, so it'll be a few minutes late in getting started. But in the meantime, we'll check out our Buffalo Wild Wings starting lineups. And for Sacred Heart Pioneers, they have a couple of 4-year starters in Evan Kelly and Phil Gaetano. And for Ohio State, a name that is missing there, Jim, is Amir Williams. He has a sore knee, and Ohio State feeling like, okay, this is a game. We'll let him take it off, make sure we get that knee good and strong.
If this was a big game, and I don't mean to take anything away from, bless this court here, and the Thad Mott, the ability to sell the program, to sell Ohio State, has been phenomenal. And as successful as he's been, it's funny because he still doesn't get the credit. I mean, You have to win that championship. That gets you that instant cred, but a heck of a coach, heck of a program.
Opening tip controlled by the Buckeyes. Shannon Scott from the baseline, and the rebound by Davon Barnett.
And Tom, it's very important early in this game against the zone, talking to Coach Latino, what they want to do is if you have an available shot early on, take it. If not, don't force it. But you have to see the ball go in, have some confidence. If not, this game can get away from them real quick.
Yeah, the Buckeyes quickly force a turnover. The Pioneers have averaged 15 turnovers a game.
Well, the problem is you're averaging more turnovers than assists for the Pioneers. And against Ohio State, they do an excellent job of turning those into baskets.
Russell with a miss. Lee with an attempted putback, partially blocked. Down with it is Kane Broom, the freshman. Sacred Heart, 1 win, 1 loss. There is a common foe, UMass Lowell, a team Ohio State beat by 37. Sacred Heart lost to by 3 on Thursday night. 15 to shoot, and another turnover. The steal pulled out of there by D'Angelo Russell. Then he's called for traveling by Eric Curry. Our referees tonight, Eric Curry, Brian Dorsey, and Tim Stewart.
Well, one issue you're going to have right now, and that's Broom as a freshman, is the intensity in which Shannon Scott plays defense, but also the length on the perimeter is a little bit different than the Pioneers team is accustomed to. So pass the ball, try not to over-dribble, shift the defense, and maybe you can attack the gaps that way.
That is going to be the 3rd turnover on Sacred Heart because it's an offensive foul, that swim move by the freshman out of Poland, Filip Nowicki.
Well, not the start that Coach Latino wanted. At least you're able to get some shots at the rim and not 3 consecutive turnovers.
We still don't have a point scored in this game. We're a couple of minutes late in getting started, but lighting now back. This is Lee on the block, double team. Russell, he'll drive. Tough shot goes, and he is fouled.
You see how special this young man can be. Excellent use of the pump fake, but getting back in position so Lee could kick it back out, and then the ability to take the contact, make an acrobatic move, and finish with his offhand. The Marquette game was tough because he just never got into a rhythm. He had been playing so well in the exhibition season in the first game. But actually, I think it was kind of good for him because he learned a lot about what this game is really about at another level. And I think that game will ultimately help him as the season continues to move forward.
By the way, the freshman Nowicki's already picked up 2 personal fouls. He's one of the few legitimate big men, and now he's on the Sacred Heart bench.
Yeah, think about the 2 fouls weren't really active fouls where you were either going after a block shot or you tried to take a charge. These were, kind of silly fouls.
Nice look down low and a missed layup by Barnett. Rebound snatched out of there by Lee. The lob to Thompson.
Either off a turnover or a missed shot. This Ohio State team will look to attack in transition. And for the Pioneers, when the ball goes up, you got to get 2 back. If not, you'll see enough of Sam Thompson flying through the air that you'll get sick of it if you're the Pioneers.
Thompson, the 6'7" senior out of Chicago, and he's had so many highlight dunks since he came to Columbus. 3-ball, rimmed by Gaetano. And Ohio State still pitching a shutout, almost 3 minutes into it. Lee doubled up, and that'll be a reach and foul on Sacred Heart.
Well, you see the quick double team, but here it is. It's off the missed shot. Lee immediately up the court. Shannon Scott, 2 dribble, 3, 4. Head up to a streaking Sam Thompson. Again, that's really good offensive transition for Ohio State, but poor defensive transition by the Pioneers.
Again, the lob to Thompson. Wow. 7-0 Buckeyes.
I don't even know what to say. You run out of superlatives when you explain Sam Thompson. Now, that's a welcoming sign right there, because this Pioneers team last game had excellent shots but just couldn't knock them down.
Scott inside the Lee, stripped away and saved. Kane Broom made that triple for Sacred Heart. He was 0 for 8 on the year behind the arc before that one. Lee's miss. Running is Kelly. Kelly driving. The shot blocked. Here come the Buckeyes. Shannon Scott on the attack. And it's 9-3 Ohio State, 3.5 minutes into it.
The body language, everything about Shannon Scott is so different this year. The confidence is there. Patiently waited his turn, Tom.
He's a special young player. 16:20 left in the first half. Thad Matta's Buckeyes off to a quick 9-3 start. Ohio State only has 9 healthy bodies tonight, Jim, so Sacred Heart isn't going to catch a break.
Yeah, but you know, not a good 9.
Yes.
Ohio State. So, I mean, that makes up for it. But it's also good because you have different lineups. Guys get more minutes early in the season. I think that's very good for continuity later on.
And it's a deeper club for Ohio State than in past years. Russell the miss, he'll follow. Missed again. McDonald with the miss putback, tipped up and in by D'Angelo Russell.
But what you have also, you see a full court press here, is players now for Ohio State that can make plays. It's not just Shannon Scott. Russell can make plays. Cam Williams, Sam.
And on the drive, foul zone, got fouled. That'll be on Shannon Scott, his first. Sacred Heart frustrated here in the early. The Buckeye faithful enjoying a quick start, 11-3. And it's no secret Ohio State should win and win big, Jim. But Thad Matta said it's still about coming out and taking an opponent serious. This season's too young to overlook anyone.
But it's how you win. Do you play as a team? Do you do the little things defensively in the zone? When your teammate is open, do you pass him the basketball? Do you execute the offense? Those are the things that you look at. It could be a 40-point game. You say, well, what do you take out of it? Well, did we execute when we needed to? Offensively and defense. And that's something that the coaching staff, harps on their players about, is that, we got to get this continuity thing down pat before we go into Big Ten play.
Foul zone, missed, followed it. He'll try again. Blocked again by Trey McDonald. Foul zone once again, and this time drew contact. And that'll be on McDonald. So good effort by Tevin Foul Zone, the 6'7" junior.
Well, film session right here. No matter what happens in this game, if they win by 20 or 30, this is one of the things that Coach Vaughn and coaching staff talk about and say, well, if we're playing Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan State, this kind of lack of attention to detail will cost us games.
Sometimes you have to learn the hard way.
You do. And it's always something you can learn within the game. Win or lose, close or not close, coaches will always point out some things. And U.S. players, Tom, you know it too. You kind of hate the film session to come around, especially when you know you were involved in a couple plays that kind of stood out.
Buckeyes up 6, 4.5 minutes into this one. First ever meeting between these two schools. McDonald didn't come close. And there's going to be a foul again on Sacred Heart. Boy, they're racking up the fouls here in a hurry.
Yeah,
that's the 4th team.
Yeah, McDonald missed that shot. Normally, he's a pretty good shooter from about the free throw line. That one just a little bit off, but I think it's the size aspect of it right there. Loving had inside position on foul zone, just wrapped him up underneath and got another foul call.
D'Angelo Russell, he can play the point, he can play the off guard. Thompson, who's had a couple of highlight dunks, now shows that outside jumper.
A 15-foot pull-up. He's worked on that extensively over the summer, not just relying on his athletic ability, which we all know is just on another level, but that just comes with maturity as a basketball player, improving different parts of your game.
13-8 Ohio State. We're 5 minutes in. This is four-year starter Phil Gaetano. Three ball by Glowiak. Scott with a long rebound. Buckeyes looking to run. Russell for three. And a good block out that time by foul zone.
Yeah, but a good transition three by Russell, because you had guys in rebounding position, just weren't able to get an offensive rebound. But those are kind of shots that you look for early in transition if you're Ohio State.
Thompson pulling down his third rebound of the young game. Loving with the miss. McDonald hustles after it. Ohio State 6 minutes into it, leading Sacred Heart 13-5. Buckeyes averaging 83 points a game this young season. Buckeye turnover recovered by Loving. Scott finds the open Russell. On the drive, got it to go. That was a nice pump fake.
Yeah, with the smooth lefty, and earlier, I had to correct myself, but I said he shot his N1 with his offhand, but it's his left hand. It looked like it was right, but smooth. And right there, I like the fact that he pulled up for the jump shot and should have tried to take it all the way. Actually blocked that time.
And the possession arrow favors Sacred Heart. Some good early minutes here for Trey McDonald, who's been active.
Early minutes, I think it's good because he can give you another body inside that can score, but also from a defensive perspective can do this. And in the Big Ten, you know as anybody, Tom, if you can have a guy that can clog up the lane, that can rebound, intimidate a little bit, it can take you a long way defensively.
You have to have some inside presence in Big Ten play, don't you, Jim?
Well, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a straight-up post-up player, but in Trey McDonald's case, he can knock down the 15-footer, rebound, but block shots like we just saw.
How about that
right
look?
There.
He got another one, didn't he? And another traveling violation on Sacred Heart.
But think about this. Sacred Heart, smaller team, but they're able still to penetrate the zone and break down the zone. Now, they're not finishing inside. And again, a teaching point is, and I watched this against Marquette, the gaps in this zone defense you're getting away with right now against some of these teams, but in Big Ten play, it's going to come back to bite the Buckeyes if they don't tighten that up.
On the drive, Russell was fouled. Frustrating start for Anthony Latina, but he knew that they would have their hands full here tonight. I mean, he's a realist. This is a club that's in a rebuild mode. He does have some four-year starters, but when you've only won 5 games the previous year, Jim, you don't go from 5 wins to 20 the next season.
Well, you don't, and a lot of it has to do with your returning talent and who you have coming in. But Coach Latina in practice said, listen, for us, if we can knock down some shots early, that gives us a shot to stay competitive and not turn it over. Well, I haven't been able to do either of those two things right now, but still a lot of time left in this first half.
Back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
16-5 Buckeyes, 12:45 left in the half. Sacred Heart is 1 for 11 shooting. How about that, though? On cue, the 4-year starter Phil Gaetano, who's a 50% three-point shooter, knocks down that triple.
Coach Latina loves Phil Gaetano. He's one of the best passers in the country, tough-minded point guard.
McDonald is just having his way inside. Nowicki's back on the floor with 2 fouls. He couldn't get aggressive.
Well, not at all, because the earlier fouls that he picked up were away from the ball. And that time, Trey McDonald understood that. He got in prime time position to get an offensive rebound and then was able to finish with a nice jump hook.
Buckeyes on top, 18-8. This is Gaetano. Nice look down low, and another missed layup, this time by Nowicki.
And Nowicki was caught in between. Do I dunk it or do I lay it up? And that time he did neither one.
Air ball by Thompson, yanked out of there by foul zone. Pioneers in the front court. Open look in the corner, knocked down by the 4-year starter, Evan Kelly. That's his first triple of the season.
And that was an excellent possession that time. The ball was able to be entered at the free throw line. Defense collapsed. You make a nice pass to the corner, and that's how you attack the zone defense.
Well, look at D'Angelo Russell. You can't teach that.
The patience that time. 1 dribble, 2 dribbles, got to a spot, now able to finish.
He may have a double-double by halftime. 10 points, 5 rebounds for Russell.
And it's going to be a joy to watch him as he matures and continues to get more comfortable with the college game on how much his game really expands. It's just the tip of the iceberg right now, Tom.
Gaetano for 3. You touched on it, Jim, as Thompson is fouled underneath. Coach Thad Matta said just what you said. It wasn't that bad a thing for D'Angelo Russell to have a tough game against Marquette.
I talked earlier about the gaps in the defense here for Ohio State, and you have to play big. Right now, Ohio State, what I've seen this year, are playing small. Penetrating passes are able to get within inside the zone defense. And as we roll this play here, this is against Sacred Heart. And not a big team, not a quick team, but once again, the lack of communication, but also playing small, arms down to the side, allows these penetrating passes. Now, this shot was eventually blocked, but again, in Big Ten play, that's a dunk.
That's a great point. Ohio State on top, 20-11, as we near the midpoint here of the first half. Ohio State, and that'll be a reach-in foul on Barnett, and already the Buckeyes in the bonus. No surprise, Ohio State has outscored Sacred Heart 16-0 in the paint.
Well, it would be a shame if Ohio State just would settle for jump shots in a game like this, even though it would come easy. But the thing you have to realize, if you're Ohio State, we're trying to build something moving towards conference play. And how do we do that? We execute. We don't settle for jump shots. We take it. Now you're able to get fouled, get to the free throw line, and then guess what? Those jump shots then open up because the defense is so afraid of the inside presence that the jump shots become a lot easier.
Second free throw here for Mark Loving. Well, BTN goes where you want, when you want it, with BTN to go, presented by Auto Owners Insurance. Watch live hoops on your computer, tablet, or smartphone. To learn more, visit btntogo.com. Ohio State will play a lot more zone this season than we've seen in recent years. But Coach Thad Matta said, hey, look, we played a lot of zone in previous years, back in 2008 and 2009.
Young teams.
Yeah.
You notice it was young teams. A deep 3. Wow.
Steve Glowiak, 3 points.
That was Steve Glowiak. Almost a 30-footer.
Yeah, but how many of those can you make? I mean, those are the shots Ohio State are willing to give up. A 30-footer. He's standing coming off the screen.
Scott with the miss. Poked away from behind, but recovered by the Pioneers. This is Glowiak, who just hit that long 3 moments ago. Sacred Heart within 7.
And Tom, back to that zone. Well, with a young team, the man-to-man principles are tough to grasp right away, so you go to a zone. Also within the zone, if you rebound well, you can get out and run a lot better. Okay, so it's a couple different schools of thoughts to why that's taking place with Thad Matta and this Buckeye team.
Glowiak missed that triple. Jayshawn Tate in there with the rebound and a 3-ball knockdown. So Mark Loving, the Toledo sophomore. Two of them, Jim, you're probably sitting next to the head coach shortly.
Well, there's been a couple that's been deep already. Okay, maybe not as deep as that one. But, you know, here's the thing is that Coach Bettina, you know, he encourages guys to take good shots when they have them. Now, is that a good shot? But we'll credit this that the shot clock was going down. How about that?
I'll take it.
Okay, you'll take that? Okay.
But, Jim, quite honestly, for them to pull off what would be a mammoth upset, they would have to have that kind of a night, wouldn't they, where they just completely shoot out of their minds.
And they would also have to lessen the possessions of the game. Slow the game down so Ohio State can't get 60, 70 points. Keep it in a 40, 50-point range, and that's when they have a chance. But If you turn it over and let Ohio State get out in transition, it won't be even close.
That's already the 6th turnover on the Pioneers. A lot of them unforced. Tate on the drive, counted, and another Sacred Heart foul. That's already 19 fouls on Sacred Heart, just 2 on the Buckeyes.
Well, part of being a good defensive team is being in position before the ball gets there. And right now, you're trying to recover to get back to a guy who already is going into his move. So Jayshawn Tate had the advantage. And this is a player here, Tom, that what is his position? You just put him on the court. He's going to rebound, going to play defense, he's going to score, he's going to scrap, he's tough-minded. So you don't, you put him at the forward, yeah, put him at the 2, yeah, but you just need him on the court because he's going to give you a little something, something.
I know it's not fair to compare, Jim, but already you've heard some comparisons as far as his game, a lot like David Lighty, who had such a great career here because, as you said, he could play anywhere and guard anybody from a point guard to the 5.
Well, both players, what they both have in common, they're willing to do the dirty work. Okay? Not so much concerned about how many plays am I going to get run for me, but what can I do to help my team be successful? And that's why David Lighty went on to have a stellar career here, and Jayshawn Tate is following his footsteps.
Foul zone down low, drew the foul, and he'll go to the line and shoot a pair.
Ohio State foul, 15,
So we've got a tremendous Major League manager who guided the New York Mets to a World Series appearance and a longtime manager not only in the Major Leagues but also in Japan. Bobby Valentine was one of the greatest athletes to ever come out of the New England area, and Jimmy, he could have played at USC as a tailback, went as a baseball player, had a devastating leg injury, never had quite the career he would have had he not had that injury, but he was some kind of manager.
I think it worked out for him, Tom. And it's weird because, and I don't know the connection with Sacred Heart and Bobby Valentine as to why he chose and they chose for that position, but it's interesting when you have a character figure like that that comes to a school. What does it add credibility and legitimacy to the program? So I'm sure he's having a ball.
Mark Loving is going to be called for traveling. That's only the 3rd Ohio State turnover.
Ohio State substitution 0, D'Angelo Russell replacing Cam Williams.
Well, stay tuned at the half for the State Farm halftime report. Mike Hall will bring you the latest news and highlights from our Big Ten studios. Plus, we'll preview the all-new Big Ten Elite featuring the 1996 Ohio State Buckeyes. Scott will finish, and the Buckeyes lead 29-16.
Real simple, fast break. You just make the right play, Tom. I mean, you don't have to be spectacular that time. 2-on-1, able to turn it over, get an easy layup. And a lot of times, again, you take these games right here. Do you give up on the play? It's easy. D'Angelo Russell down, head up, 3 dribbles, the simple play. Not trying to be spectacular.
And is that hard in a game like this, Jim? Not to try for the home run, but to just hit the single if we can bring back Bobby Valentine?
Well, because you know you can get away with it. Okay, if you turn it over, you miss that shot, it's really not going to impact you because you have the game under control. But that's not the kind of mentality you want if you really want to win and win big. That's what makes a Wisconsin so good, because they're consistent in the way they play game in and game out, no matter who the opponent or what the score is.
From the baseline, Broom got it and a foul. Well, they've also got a pretty good point guard that probably wouldn't settle for guys just doing whatever they wanted on their own.
Who's that? Who's that?
Youngster named Trayvon Jackson. I'm sitting next to the proud Papa.
Yeah, he's grown a lot. Part of that with Bowles, you see Broom with the beautiful floater right there on the baseline. One thing Bo Ryan does, he figures out players who kind of fit his system, who are right on the cusp of being pretty good. And now when they get in the program, you can see the growth mentally and physically in their game. And by the time they're juniors and seniors, I mean, the team is just a tough out. A tough out.
From the corner, D'Angelo Russell with a triple. Well, you should be proud. He's a terrific young man, and he's made a name for himself, and that's sometimes hard to do when your dad had as great a career as you did, and Trayvon has made quite a mark in Madison, and The Badgers right there again as one of the elite teams in college basketball.
Yeah, the beauty is he chose a school that he wanted to go to where he felt comfortable. And that's more important than anything, because time I had my years of glory in playing, now was his time to kind of create his own mark on the game of basketball.
Shot missed by Broom. What he didn't tell you is what I know being from Madison. He also likes State Street. Mark Loving from the corner knocks down the triple.
And Mark Loving loves that three-point line. The spacing is important here, too, when you're running the fast break. Sometimes you can crowd in and take that away, but that time Mark Loving, excellent spacing, able to knock it down.
Broom driving, stumbling, recovered the kick out. Lowiak for three. Short, nice hustle inside and foul zone with a rebound, got fouled.
And this Sacred Heart team has done some good things.
Yes.
I mean, not able to finish and knock down shots, but just that possession there, it was one pass, two pass, get it to the open player. You missed the shot, but because the defense was constantly a half a second behind, now you get an offensive rebound.
Well, the Sacred Heart Pioneers are picked to finish last in the Northeast Conference, but as we know, preseason predictions don't mean a whole lot.
You got to play. I mean, Nebraska was picked to finish last in the Big Ten last year.
Good point.
They made it to the NCAA tournament, so you still have to play the game.
Well, I'll tell you what, that kid can see the floor.
One of the best, like I said, Latina said, in the country as far as passing the ball.
Well, I tell you, Ohio State in transition is fun to watch. They lead at 37-19. And what a night for Thompson, who has 8 points and 4 rebounds.
Lethal in transition.
Foul zone. A lot of hands all over that ball. Oh, nice look down low. And getting free is Cole Walton for the layup, a 6'11 sophomore.
That time it was just good patience that time by Falzone, not panicking and just throwing a pass out. He read the defense well enough to get it down to his teammate.
Walton's first points of this young season. Under 4.5 to play. Buckeyes in control as Scott finds an open Anthony Lee. His first bucket. And Scott already with 6 assists. As Jim mentioned in the open, Shannon Scott leading the country. 12.5 assists a game. Yep, D'Angelo Russell. Wow. And another quick timeout called by Anthony Latina. He knows that this thing is really getting out of hand here quickly. Buckeyes up 20.
Tom, we're fortunate we have some outstanding freshmen in our conference right now, and none better or right on that level than D'Angelo Russell. What makes him special is the ability, one, to play both positions, the point guard position or the shooting guard, to finish inside with either hand, to shoot the ball with consistency, but also have a keen understanding of how to play the game. And again, I'm going to go back to this Marquette game. Things were a little fast for him right there. Now, this is a different level of competition. He's allowing the game to come to him, and when he does that, a couple things happen. One, he's more efficient. Two, he sees the court a lot better. Now he's setting up things for his teammates. So the maturation process is not going to be slow for him. His learning curve is on a really good arch and a quick one, too.
Tonight, D'Angelo Russell, 15.6 rebounds. And a steal by Mark Loving. Finds Thompson in the open floor. Pass deflected out of bounds. Buckeyes maintain possession. 3:51 left here in the first half. Ohio State cruising. They lead by 20 at 41.
Then the touchdown. The Ohio State offense was able to pick it up. But you got to figure out how to win games like this, almost like a trap game, because now you have Michigan coming in next week. It may not be the Michigan of old, but it's still a big rivalry. And do you look ahead? Maybe a little bit, but they were able to gather themselves back and ultimately win that game.
Loving knocks down another triple, his third triple. One thing about Ohio State football and basketball, they both get up and down the court or the field. And another turnover on the trap. Scott lost his footing. Here's Gaetano the other way with a floater, and it won't go. Tipped up and in nicely by Davon Barnett. And we have some moisture on the floor, so Tim Stewart calling for the mop.
Shannon's got it right here. Just slipped on the banana peel right there. little condensation on the floor. No harm, no foul, no injuries. But, you know, back to what you said about the football and basketball, you know, this league for so many years was looked upon, still is in some aspect, as a plodding kind of league. But if you look at the basketball teams with Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State, Minnesota, Nebraska, all love to get up and down the court. And also some of the offenses, you see Russell coming off with a beautiful square up, steps right into a shot. A lot of the football teams in the conference, too, are going more towards that fast-paced, up-tempo, and now you're able to recruit the kind of athletes you really need to compete and win national championships.
Should be a heck of a finish. Buckeyes up 46-23. We've got 2:50 left here in the first half. D'Angelo Russell has 17 points, and Mark Loving has 10 to lead the Buckeyes. Sacred Heart, a tough night shooting, 29% against this Buckeye zone. This is Nowicki against Lee. And a shot clock violation. Good defense by the Buckeyes.
And that time Nowicki not comfortable on the catch to go right into his move. That time kind of overthought the situation, trying to get closer to the basket instead of taking the initial 1-2 dribble jump up middle or to the baseline.
Sacred Heart has made 7 shots, and they have 10 turnovers. End result, Buckeyes up by 23 with 2:20 left in the first half.
Ohio State did an outstanding job of never allowing the Pioneers to get comfortable.
Thompson into the corner, Loving feeling it. Rims it, follow, missed by Russell, and it belongs to Ohio State.
Well, even on a simple defensive rebound right there by Nowicki, just couldn't bring it in. The rhythm is just not there. That doesn't mean that these young men are not playing hard. But again, right there, not playing smart at times. That time you can't allow a pass just to come in right from underneath out of bounds for a lob in the middle of the lane.
Thompson, the third Buckeye to hit double figures. He has 10. Ramming his way inside, and near score by Barnett, and an Ohio State foul. That'll be the 6th on the Buckeyes.
Ohio State foul 3, Shannon Scott.
Well, stay tuned for highlights, analysis, and a preview of Big Ten Elite featuring the 1996 Ohio State Buckeyes football team coming up on the State Farm Halftime Report.
You got to give a little love to Nowicki right there. That time, able to get the offensive rebound, keep the ball above his head, and go right back up. Again, you didn't have to think about it. You get it, you go, and you finish.
Nowicki is a freshman out of Poland, and you know one thing, he didn't see athletes like this in Poland.
But he's lost weight, though.
Yes.
He's lost close to 60 pounds. His body fat has come down. So he's trying to figure out how to operate in this new body of his.
That's incredible. Russell to McDonald for the jam. Boy, the Buckeyes have been unselfish tonight. That is 12 assists for the Buckeyes on 21 field goals. 50-23 Ohio State, 1:20 left in the half. Gaetano out front. Nice look down low, Nowicki with a layup, and Gaetano, one of the all-time great assist men in Sacred Heart and Northeast Conference basketball history. He's made some beautiful passes tonight. A lot of times guys haven't finished. Inside, Russell with a scoop. Nowicki with a rebound.
It kind of reminds me, remember a guy named Mike?
Missed there by
I was going to let you finish. Isolino, he played with me in Dallas. He went to St. Francis College. Small in stature, but had a lot of heart, could pass the heck out of the basketball. This was back in the day. You know, back in my early days, back in the early 90s. But he kind of reminds me of that same kind of player.
That's a feel thing, too, isn't it?
It is.
The ability to see the open court and pass like Gaetano does.
Yeah, you can't teach it. You know, it just, you know where to put it, when to put it. It's like the touch of a quarterback. How you can throw a lob over the top or a nice fade pass or whatever it is, like right there.
How about that play? And another miss. He should have about 8 assists already. 4 seconds left. And the Ohio State Buckeyes Buckeyes having their way with Sacred.
I think what you want to look for is the execution part. In particular, in the second half, when you're up big, do you still do the little things that will ultimately win you games? And that's how coaches really evaluate blowout wins. Did you stay engaged for 40 minutes throughout the game, or did you kind of just lay back and rest on your laurels a little bit?
And remember again tonight, folks, not that it's going to matter, Amir Williams not playing. He has a sore knee. That's why you haven't seen him. Buckeyes holding him out tonight for precautionary reasons. Lee getting the start, missed. He'll go right back up with it and score. Lee with 4. And so that means Ohio State has 9 healthy bodies. In other words, Sacred Heart isn't going to see a very deep Ohio State bench.
Well, if you're going to have any kind of injuries or a play with a depleted bench, now is the time to do it in your non-conference season to get everybody healthy. Again, see a corner jump shot by D'Angelo. But Amir, if this was a Big Ten game they needed it, he could have played.
Yeah.
But why take the chance? It's not necessary at this point of the season.
54-27, Buckeyes up as we start here in the second half. First ever meeting between the Pioneers of the Northeast Conference and the Buckeyes. This is the Poland native, and Nowicki with a nice looking jump shot. That's one thing about Europeans. I don't care if you're from Poland, Spain, wherever, Jim, they all shoot well, don't they?
They do, but they, from the time they're younger, they're groomed to step out and shoot the basketball. And Coach Santina talked about Nowicki. You see an excellent pass from Shannon Scott to David Lee down the lane. He said that with Nowicki, we don't have that kind of body in our league that can shoot, that can score, that's a wide body. So he can bowl well and do some really good things once he gets comfortable playing. Like right there, once again, you dive right to the middle of the rim, you receive the pass, you go right up and score. Well, in his league, he's going to be bigger and stronger than a lot of the players he goes up against.
That mid-range jumper, D'Angelo Russell hits it from about 10 feet. He has 19 points. And the Buckeyes lead Sacred Heart 58-31. Pull-up 17-footer. Banks off, no good. Nowicki scrapping for it. Fell. And he's called for traveling. That's a tough turnover. The 12th on Sacred Heart.
Well, this is one of the things, as we know from Ohio State, especially with Sam Slam Thompson, just throw it to the rim. But McDonald getting into the action a little bit. Hall again to my man Sam Thompson. When you have a guy like that, it's tough to miss him on the alley. You just throw it to the rim. With me, sometimes you have to put it in the right place. With Sam, he can just go get it from about anywhere.
He makes a bad pass look good, doesn't he?
He really does.
Nice jump stop, tough jump shot, missed by Barnett. Shannon Scott the other way. Shannon Scott has already 10 assists and 6 points. So Shannon Scott, who had 14 assists Tuesday night against Marquette, one shy of Aaron Kraft's Ohio State record, has 10 tonight, and he's able to score as well.
It's funny, talking to Shannon, he said, it feels like I'm back in high school when I had control of the basketball, had control of the offense, and could pretty much do what I needed to do. Oh, Russell, well,
D'Angelo Russell will get you a lot of assists, won't he?
Well, when you're surrounded by a good cast of characters in regards to guys that can score, it makes your job as a point guard easier. Now, the issue you have is how do you determine ball distribution? Okay, if a guy is going hot, it's Shannon's job as a point guard to ensure that they continue to get the basketball. If a guy's not playing well, you want to try to get him a layup to get him motivated, to get him in rhythm. That's the responsibility of the point guard.
D'Angelo Russell's putting on a clinic. 24 points, 7 rebounds for the 6'5" freshman out of Louisville. And the Buckeyes up 65-31. Nearly 3.5 minutes into the second half. D'Angelo Russell, he might score 40 tonight. Nice pass again. Wow, was that a great entry pass from Gaetano. Oh, my. 27 for D'Angelo Russell.
It kind of reminds, I did 2 Indiana games last week, and the outstanding freshman, James Blackman Jr. leading the team in scoring at about 22, 23 again. Allows the game to come to him. He doesn't force the situation. And that's what you see with D'Angelo Russell this evening. He's not forcing the situation, even though he could against the Sacred Heart team. He's playing within the confines of the offense, and ultimately he's more efficient doing that.
Nowicki. Well, that's a tough shot over Lee. Rebound, D'Angelo Russell, his 8th rebound. Now, these freshmen, you mentioned Blackman and
Johnson.
Russell.
Yeah, Johnson also, too.
That's his 3rd triple here in a matter of moments. And it's another Sacred Heart timeout. It's the D'Angelo Russell show here at the...
He can make plays. He's a lefty, which makes it even tougher to guard, but he has a little demeanor, a little swagger about him that he knows he's good. He knows that he can play. And you got to have a little ego to be really good at what you do.
All the great ones do.
And it's not a bad thing as long as it doesn't take away from what your team is trying to do. And D'Angelo Russell has all of that and a lot more.
Michael Redd had 32 points as a freshman in 1998 against Penn State, the most ever by an Ohio State freshman. D'Angelo Russell has 30. Gaetano, nice touch passing inside, but a travel. And the turnovers piling up. 14 on Sacred Heart. As Sacred Heart has 2 more turnovers than field goals made. On BTN. So here come the Buckeyes. Shannon Scott in the front court. Buckeyes up 71-33. Long way to go in this one. Over 14 minutes. From the wing. Air ball that time by Jayshawn Tate, a freshman out of Pickerington.
Jayshawn's father, Jermaine, is from Toledo. Played on my AAU team. Played here at Ohio State. Was taller, longer. Ended up transferring to Cincinnati, but he has a younger brother that I heard can really go right now.
Oh, in high school?
Yeah. I don't think he's in high school yet.
Well, start recruiting him.
That's right, yeah.
Scott is open from the wing and knocks down the triple. Shannon Scott, just his 2nd triple of the young season. He has 9 points to go with 12 assists.
And they're going to need that out of Shannon, in particular when he's running the pick and roll against some, Michigan State, Wisconsin. They're going to go underneath and force Shannon to take that shot. He has the stroke. He has the confidence. He just has to take the shot, I think, with more frequency time.
Tate with a strip. The open man, Cam Williams. He came in leading the Buckeyes in scoring. He hasn't scored tonight. Tate scores and is fouled.
The dirty work. I mean, once again, Jayshawn Tate somehow finds the basketball. He's in the right position, but just a little tap. A lot of hands flailing, bodies flailing, but able with his offhand to finish inside. And when the game gets tough, Tom, and scrappy, that's who you want with you, because you know he's going to be in there for a fight, and not a physical fight in regards to fighting, but, really not giving up, putting the body, diving on the floor. And those kind of plays at times energizes your team.
Well, Tate has 6 points, 4 rebounds. Again, Thad Matta has one of his deeper teams here in recent years. And he's really able to go 10 deep. From the corner, Glowiak with a miss on the 3. Strong rebound, McDonald. Buckeyes on top by 42. Slicing inside and fouled is freshman Keita Bates-Diop. So Bates-Diop will go at the line to shoot 2. Gaetano picks up his 2nd.
And another freshman starting to develop a little bit more than D'Angelo Russell, but has a very good skill set, long, athletic, can knock it down. He's going to add weight to that body a little bit for Big Ten play, but very excited about his progress and the potential here at Ohio State.
Well, this freshman group for Thad Matta was ranked in the top 5 of all the freshman groups coming in this season. And Ohio State just signed another crop that's ranked in the top 10 in the country. So back-to-back top 10 recruiting classes, and that's why Thad Matta has won 20 games every year he's been a college coach. He can coach, but he knows better than anybody. You better be able to recruit and get good players.
It helps when you win. It helps when you're on national TV. It helps when the credibility perspective of sending guys off to the NBA from a recruiting. Now you're able to go into these young men's homes and convince the mothers and fathers that, one, as you see Diop right there knock down a nice jump shot, out of bounds play, well executed, but not only do you get to play at a big-time level, but you're at a big-time school from an education perspective, alumni perspective. All those are selling points to get top-notch talent to come and play at Ohio State.
Foul zone with a miss. And a tie-up. Possession arrow favors the Pioneers. 82-33 Buckeyes. Well, you look at the Buckeyes. This is an interesting blend, isn't it, Jim? Not many teams have 5 seniors, and then you blend it with 5 freshmen among the best 5 freshmen in the country. So it's an interesting blend for Thad Matta.
Well, a lot of times you don't get to have really your top-notch players that play a lot of minutes beat seniors. But when you can have that good combination of seniors who have played and been there and experienced winning, but also the heartbreak of losing, now those young freshmen have mentors. And a lot of times when you don't have seniors, and you have young freshmen that don't have anything or anyone to bounce some things off, it's a little tougher transition.
From the corner, Glowiak knocks down the triple. So Glowiak has a couple of triples tonight. 82-36 Buckeyes, 11:50 to play. That's just too easy for McDonald, who getting the start tonight has 6. Beg your pardon, he came off the bench.
And Anthony Lee was able to get some quality minutes.
Yeah.
In the lineup early on, which I think bodes well for Ohio State, because you're going to need both of those young men to battle inside later in the year.
Off balance shot by foul zone doesn't go. McDonald yanks down his 8th rebound. So we've got a timeout. Everybody contributing tonight. Thunder is down 23 to play. It's name your score. We had mentioned before that D'Angelo Russell was close to breaking a freshman record. That's what we were told by the folks, but there's been a correction now. Jared Sullinger holds the record at Ohio State, most points by a freshman. He had 40 his freshman year against IUPUI.
I'm so glad you corrected that, because my Twitter account, my text message has been blowing up. And the #1 culprit is Satch Sullinger, which is Jared's father, that told me to tell the producer to get it right. And this is what happened. I told him to calm down. We'll get it taken care of. So I'm so glad you did that.
We just go by what we have been told by the folks here at Ohio State, as D'Angelo Russell now has 31 points. 85-36 Buckeyes, 11:09 to play. Russell now with 32. So that is 8 behind Jared Sullinger's 40-point explosion against IUPUI. We played a little over 9 minutes here in the second half. Gaetano, good pump fake. Nice find down low. Nowicki had it blocked by McDonald, and he recovers it. Heck of a play by McDonald. Russell ahead, and a beautiful block, but then a foul by McDonald, who's doing it on both ends of the floor. McDonald with a rebound. Buckeyes running up 88-36. Russell short on the 3. Rebound yanked out of there by Chris Robinson, a freshman. Broom driving, scooping, missing. McDonald has another rebound. That's his 12th.
So many easy missed shots. You see Diop in transition that the Pioneers had. I mean, They attacked the basket. They made the move. They got to where they needed to get to on the court, but the inability at times to finish over the length.
Yeah.
You know, that's the difference here is finishing over length or the anticipation that somebody's coming behind you. But right there, Chris Robinson able to knock down a three in the corner.
So the Buckeyes now lead it 88-39. We're halfway through the second half. How's that Twitter account going?
Oh, Satch just hit me back and said he's laughing his butt off because I gave him a little shout out on TV. And, you know, he calls himself a golfer.
No?
Oh, please. He's terrible. In my Charles Barkley voice, terrible. But he thinks he can play, and he talks the whole time. You know?
I'll tell you one thing he could do. He could coach.
Oh, he could coach.
And he had sons that could play.
That's right. Well, that would speak volume for his golf game. I'm going to get a text in about, probably about 10 seconds and counting about that.
Hey, the way this game's going, see if he'll come down. We'll interview him. Ohio State up 88-39 with 9:20 to play.
Well, he'll be more than happy to come and partake in our broadcast and express his infinite wisdom in the game of basketball, but more importantly, the game of life and golf, on how he just kicks everybody's tail on the golf course, which is a flat-out lie.
Nice block inside by Bates Diop. I can tell you emphatically that the 13 or 12 rebounds by Trey McDonald, that's a career high for Trey.
And you made sure you got the notes and everything before you made the comment.
I'm doing my own research.
Yeah. We're just throwing our producer right under the bus right now. He's just killing him right now. If he was drowning right now in the ocean, a life preserver wouldn't be coming right now from me or you, Tom. He'll just be shark bait.
We love you, Dan.
Love you to death, buddy.
There's Evan Kelly at the line. He's a 4-year starter. His dad, Earl, was a terrific player at UConn back in the early and mid-'80s. And his dad had a tremendous career at UConn. Unfortunately for Earl Kelly, that came just before Jim Calhoun took over that program, and then he built UConn into one of the elite powers in college hoops.
Yeah, it's amazing how timing works, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, you could be a year ahead, a year behind, and things can go north to south just depending on what happens, you know.
Tate with the miss. Buckeyes up 88-41. 8:23 to play. There's a steal by Shannon Scott. He's looking for someone. He'll drive and had it blocked, but a foul is going to be called on Kane Broom. And so Shannon Scott will go to the line with a chance now to have a double-double.
Well, here's the difference between big-time basketball. Watch the contact with Shannon Scott and Broom. Okay? Shannon Scott has built his body up and has become stronger. That time, Broom didn't have a chance. It's like, you know, ragdoll hit Shannon Scott and just flew out the way. That's the, when you look at the body composition of Big Ten players, and it's not taking anything from Sacred Heart, but it's the reality of the situation, and you see it in that example with the steal, but also with the contact.
Well, Scott a double-double, Jim. 11 points, 13 assists. So he needs 3 assists to set a record for most assists in a game by a Buckeye. He had 14 against Marquette. Aaron Kraft with a record of 15. Rebound by Evan Kelly. And the skip pass goes out of bounds on the Buckeye deflection. Ohio State in a rout tonight, just under 8. State lead Sacred Heart. You know, Jim, and there's the number, and that is some kind of an honor. Congratulations, because that never gets old.
Taking up space up there. You know, it's funny because I brought a good friend of mine, business partner here, right? Jim was empty, and he wanted to see the jersey. We talked about it. The day I brought him wasn't up there. He gives me the business all the time about, yeah, I go to the arena and your jersey's supposed to be there, and it wasn't even in the raffle. Oh.
Well, Jayshawn Tate hoping maybe he can get a jersey up there someday. The freshman has 8. Where the heck was your jersey?
I think my reasoning was they were cleaning that day. So A few other jerseys weren't there either, so I was able, but he gives me the business all the time about that.
Nice tip in. That time by Cole Walton, who scored his first points of the season here tonight. Couple of field goals. Buckeyes up 92-43 as we near the 7-minute mark. Another good look and a foul. I'll tell you what, if Bates Diop had gotten that up quickly, Shannon Scott would have had his 14th assist.
Sacred Heart
We can show highlights all day, but it shows kind of athleticism. We talked about the freshman for Ohio State, Shannon Scott, not giving up. I mean, still diving on the ground to keep the play alive. And I can remember playing in games like this, Tom, back when I was in school, where you're up such a large margin early. And it is hard to concentrate because, again, things are so easy. But, and I'm going to use the word professional from this perspective, is that you got to figure out a way to still stay engaged with your mind. Because if not, you try to do some things, can cause some injuries, which you don't want. You get out of doing the little things that Coach Mata wants you to do or your coaches want you to do. So it's not easy to do this, but you're expected to figure out how to do it.
And it bears repeating, Jim, that the Buckeyes only have 9 healthy bodies tonight, but they're 9 guys that play a lot. So it's not like Thad Matta's trying to run up the score. It's just he doesn't have those usual guys that sit at the end of the bench that never get into a game except this one. He's going with guys that play all the time just because of the injuries.
Well, also, too, but the last few games, he's played 10 deep.
Yeah.
With more minutes, guys playing at least 10 minutes and scoring. So it's a little bit different from what you've seen in the past from Coach Mata as far as a shorter bench. Now, will that be reduced once you get into conference play later in the year? See Cam Williams in the corner? I don't know. But it's a great sign to have when you can have basically 2 units of guys that you trust and believe in that can get the job done.
Well, doesn't it also make you better as far as practice?
Oh, yeah. Well, people are going to compete.
Vita Bates Diop, the freshman out of Normal, Illinois. Knocks down the first. Be sure to stay tuned right after the completion of our game. A brand new edition of Big Ten Elite featuring the 1996 Ohio State football Buckeyes. It's coming up next on BTN.
So what do you think about the playoff system right now? You know, it's always good. I'm saying this. No matter what it is, it's always going to be something. Even with the double NCAA tournament, it's 64 wasn't good enough. When you went to 68, you still had teams left out. I mean, how do you resolve that situation to make it? I mean, you're always going to have an argument.
I just think if you win a Big Ten championship, you have to have your conference champions in the playoffs. But
well, I mean, with that. With the Big 12 not having a conference championship.
But I guess I would like a playoff situation, Jim, where you're rewarded for winning a conference title. If that takes 8 teams, it takes 8 teams. But nobody on the NCAA football committee is called. So you're the first one to ask.
Well, you know what? I think early on, you try the 4, but in the back of your mind, you're probably going to have to increase it. So I will give, the committee at least that amount due credit.
Jim, and think of, you mentioned March Madness. No matter if you have 64, 68 teams, we spend more time talking about the 3 or 4 that didn't make it than the 64, 68 that did make it. So you're always going to have somebody complaining.
But you always complain. You also talk about seeding.
Yeah.
Along with the teams that got left out, why did this team get seeded as high or as low as it did? So it's never the right equation. Is it always going to be right? No. But does it work? Time will tell for the college. But for the NCAA tournament basketball, it works.
And for college football right now, you got a lot of people talking about it.
A lot of people talking about it. That's right. I don't like the idea of the NCAA, another turnover by Sacred Heart, trying to reveal the rankings early on in basketball, kind of like they're doing football. The excitement of not knowing was the beauty, I think, when you come down to Selection Sunday, of who the number 1 seeds are, who's in, those kind of things. I don't want to lose that excitement.
Well, Sacred Heart's still playing hard. It's just not talented enough to stay with Ohio State. One thing we've learned about Vince Fritz, he is not bashful. The freshman keeps launching, but not successfully. Cam Williams with the bank. He led Ohio State in scoring coming into this one at 14 points a game, and the redshirt freshman has his first bucket of the night.
Sometimes it happens like that. No matter what you do, the ball just won't go in the hoop. But it's nice like that. But you can do other things on the court to still help your team win. And you can't get caught up into, well, I had a bad game because I didn't shoot well. Well, you can have a really good shooting game and not play well.
Oh, boy. Getting a little physical. McDonald took one to the face. That foul will be on Edu Kugo. I'm not even trying his first name. 90
to win, but if you look at his compiled record, what he was able to do at Ohio State, very successful. But I remember those days with Coop, Carlos Snow, Lonzo Spellman, Ricky Dudley was there, played. Benny Clark.
McDonald with a miss. He's had the best night of his career with 13 rebounds, 8 points.
Robert Smith.
Goes on.
I keep going on and on, I'm telling you.
There's a pretty good Heisman Trophy running back. There's a restaurant here in town.
Yeah, Eddie George. Yeah, a lot of talent.
Oh, my. Nice up and under by Kane Broome.
I like Broome. I mean, as a freshman, one thing for sure, he's not afraid to go inside.
No.
And he's a sneaky athlete as well. We saw early with the floater, a couple times getting to the basket, able to elevate. Now he just has to get more comfortable finishing at this level. But in their league, he can play.
Well, that bucket means Shannon Scott has 15 assists. That ties Aaron Kraft for the all-time record for most assists in a game by a Buckeye. Tate made the jumper, the assist to Shannon Scott. How about Shannon Scott? The pass down low, blocked by Bates Diop. Shannon Scott now has 40 assists in 3 games.
You know, it's such an anomaly now. You look at that and you say, you're amazed by it. But isn't that what point guard's supposed to do?
Yeah.
I mean, really?
But he's a true point guard, isn't he? In that he's not looking to score first.
Well, think about his mindset. He came out of high school as a McDonald All-American, expected to come in and play right away. That didn't happen. So he changed his thought process to become a better defensive player to give something to the team. And now he's back in the position that he's accustomed to, playing in the role that he loves, which is distributing the basketball, feeding his teammates, and winning basketball games. And I'm going to go back to it. That's what point guards are supposed to do.
I thought it was interesting, Coach Thad Matta telling us today that for Shannon Scott, of course, with Aaron Kraft ahead of him for 3 years, Aaron Kraft was the unquestioned leader in point guard, and Shannon was willing to defer to Aaron Kraft. So they've had to tell Shannon, hey, you've got to take this club and lead it now. This is your team to lead.
Well, it's not always easy when your game offensively and leadership kind of has been dormant a little bit to try to get it back. But Shannon's done an outstanding job of doing it. I think the trip earlier this summer in the Bahamas helped as well to get him ready to go in that leadership role. And he seems so comfortable, like it's a natural position again for him, i.e. like it was when he was in high school.
Well, there's a record-breaking 16th assist for Shannon Scott on the Jayshawn Tate bucket. Tate has a dozen. That's a school record for Shannon Scott. Cam Williams with a jam. And the Buckeyes have scored over 100 points for the first time in 3 years. Well, I haven't seen it come up on the official stats yet that was 16 assists. It sure looked like an assist, didn't it? This is Scott into the front court. Evidently, it's not official yet.
Our producer didn't tell you that, did he?
No.
1 minute.
He is going to kill me right now. He's going to really make me earn it tonight with these little...
Well, there's the assist. You got to count that one. A record night for Shannon Scott. Another block by McDonald, but a foul on the drive. 106-45, Ohio State.
Ohio State now 1, Jayshawn Tate is third,
A little poke from behind. Shannon Scott defensively, and then making the correct but simple play. Yeah. I mean, it's the game. A lot of times, Tom, we as basketball players tend to complicate it a lot more than it has to be. If somebody's open, you pass it. If you have an open shot, you shoot. If your man gets beat, your partner, help him out. Yeah, you know, it's really not as difficult as it needs to be, but again, we tend to make it a little bit more than it has to be.
Well, it's ironic. Shannon Scott sets an Ohio State record with 16 assists in the game. His dad, Charlie Scott, set a lot of records at North Carolina, but he was a scorer and one of the great scorers in the game.
He loved to put it up. I mean, Charlie's not bashful to tell you that either. That he loved to put it up.
106-46 Buckeyes. McDonald short on the shot. Rebound, foul zone. Sacred Heart down 60. Make it 58. 106-48 Buckeyes with a half minute to go. Here from the Value City Arena, the 20th ranked Buckeyes getting a record-breaking 16 assists from Shannon Scott. Ohio State got 32 points by D'Angelo Russell. And the Buckeyes had 6 players in double figures. And they did not overlook the Pioneers tonight. 106-48. Buckeyes a winner here tonight to go to 3-0 in their first ever meeting with Sacred Heart as Anthony Latina and Thad Mata shake hands at center court. And congratulations to Shannon.